Ready? Go. Set. Go. All right. Welcome back to another episode of I'm New to This, the podcast. This is episode 7. And, I'm finally sitting down to record it. It's been a long week. I'm going to go ahead and go into the weekly recap because this, of course, this past week was Valentine's week. I also had to do an interview. We had open house for Ayden, as I told you guys that his school is closing. And so we had to do open house for the other daycare. We did that. And then after Valentine's Day, work got crazy. Work got very heavy. Friday, I just felt like I had worked like a dog all week. And then book club was Saturday. So today's Sunday. I'm finally sitting down to record. Hopefully I can edit this after Ayden goes to sleep, and then I can put it up. So we'll see. But that was really the week. Nothing really happened. I'm doing this episode about Ayden's therapies, just a kind of brief touch on them. That way, next week when I put out the episode or the interview that I did with Kelsy, Ayden's speech therapist, you'll have a little brief understanding of where he is and where he was at, why we chose to do speech therapy. I'll talk a little bit about physical therapy also. And I wish I could get that therapist also to do an interview, but I don't even know how to get in touch with her. But I'll have a physical therapist on at some point just to talk about physical therapy in general. Because even with physical therapy, there's a lot of things that I didn't even know. I didn't even think that physical therapy could fix or help. So, like I said, this week has just been super heavy. I did get a chance to do the interview with Kelsy, so that'll be up next week. And then that's really it. Valentine's Day was good. Open house was good. It was a good time. The school is way bigger. And hopefully they can hopefully it's a smooth transition for all the teachers and the staff and everything. I just hope it all moves over well and it's not super hectic. But other than that, that has been our week. I sat Ayden on the toilet today, and I was supposed to post a video asking for potty training tips, so I'll post that sometime this week. I ain't gonna lie, I just ain't been in the mood. So I'm trying to stay consistent. I'm trying to give an episode a week. My goal right now is to give an episode a week, to post every day, and that's it. So those are my goals right now. I don't want to say failing, but I am I was hitting the episode a week for a while, but then I couldn't get them out on Fridays because something will always happen. And then this week just kind of threw me off. And I know there's going to be weeks like that where I'm just not able to record on Wednesday, or I'm too tired to edit Thursday night and stuff like that. So try not to be too hard on myself. But let's just get into the topic at hand. So like I said, I wanted to talk about speech therapy and physical therapy. Let's talk about physical therapy first because I don't have a whole bunch of information on that. When Ayden started pulling up, he was on his toes. And I know everybody's going to be I know people that walk on their toes, but Ayden wasn't on the ball of his foot or whatever. He was up on his toes. And so my concern that I brought to his doctor was that he wouldn't be able to balance himself because he was so far up on his toes. It was he was scared for his feet to touch the floor type of thing. That's what it looked like to me. So she gave us a referral for physical therapy. He did physical therapy. I can't remember how many months it is. I'll have to look that up. And I'm going to do a deep dive into physical therapy. Exactly the exercises that he did and the stuff that we brought for home and all that type of stuff. But we did physical therapy through UNC. It's a location that's close to Chapel Hill. It's not quite in Chapel Hill, but it's close to Chapel Hill. And I chose that location just because I knew the area. And so we did physical therapy there. What they worked on was strengthening his lower ab muscles and his hips to make it stronger for him to he would also he would also pull up on his ankles, and that was another concern, was that he was pulling up and rolling his ankles, and I was scared that he was going to hurt himself. So like I said, his doctor did a referral for me because she understood my concerns, and with his doctor, she's just always whatever you want to do, you do it. You know, she's always on our side. She's not going to make us do anything. She's not going to make us not do anything. If I'm concerned and she sees that there's like valid concern for it, she's going to give me the referral. So she gave us the referral. We started physical therapy. And yeah, they did a lot of exercise with that. She would make him like walk up a ramp, those little foam ramps. She would make him walk up that. She would like hold his hips when he would pull up. He would like as he was pulling up, she would like put his feet flat on the floor to like help him show how to stand up. So you stand up with like one foot at a time. Um, and I think I do still have like pictures and videos, so I'll try to like plug some of that stuff in here. But if I don't, I will put it on TikTok, on his TikTok page. So with physical therapy, that's really all it was. Just a whole bunch of, if you've ever done physical therapy yourself, I have. So, you know, I kind of know that it really is just about like strengthening the muscles and correcting like whatever bad habit you have as far as whatever is going on, or like if you're older and you had an injury, it's like reteaching yourself how to use certain muscles and strengthening those muscles again. So that's really what it was for Ayden. The focus was strengthening his muscles. It was correcting the bad habits that he kind of taught himself, or like just he resorted to like move on to the next step. And so it was really like getting him to walk to get a thing, or like distracting him with a toy and having him walk to get it, or playing with a toy and then moving it so that he can like step and grab onto something and walk across, all that type of stuff. So my concern, like I said, about it was just those two things, him rolling his ankles and him walking on his toes. But then he had also turned one and he wasn't walking. And so that was the other concern. It's just like, I know I could have waited it out, but my issue with things like this is that I don't want to wait and it comes to the time where like they're like, oh, he definitely needs physical therapy, and they're like, oh well, if you would have brought him earlier, it would have been easier to process. So I'm always like, do the evaluation. Either they're going to tell you he needs it, they're going to tell him that he needs it, but he only needs a couple of weeks or a couple of months, or they'll tell you exactly what needs to go on, or they'll say he doesn't need it. We did the occupational therapy evaluation, and she was just like, I can tell he already doesn't need it. They did the eval, and she was like, he's good. Um, and I only did that eval because why not? Like, really, the occupational therapy eval was really just a why not situation. I knew he didn't need occupational therapy. He's always been really good with motor skills, picking stuff up, doing his like pincher grabs and stuff like that. So I wasn't necessarily worried. But especially if you have insurance, just do it. Like, it's way better than like winding up without insurance and having to do it then. Um, and when you could have like prevented whatever's going on or something like that. Or it's just like I said, it's just a matter of my fear, where I'm just like, I'm scared that I'm going to like avoid this situation or put it off, and then we could have fixed it way earlier. So as well as physical therapy, we had gone to see like an orthopedist and all that type of stuff, just to make sure his hips were aligned right and his shins were aligned right, because Ayden also, his feet were turned in, not quite club feet, but like turned in, so they were kind of like, instead of being like this, they were turned like that. And so my concern was that that was also a reason why he was pulling up, rolling his ankles, because his feet were turned in a little bit. And so we wanted to make sure that his hips were fine, because sometimes that will be the issue. And so what that doctor came up with was that his shin bones were turned a little bit, but he said that would fix itself as he walked more. So I think what happened was we got cleared from that doctor, and he was like, come back if he's walking weird or anything like that. But he's fine. Ayden walks perfect now. He runs. He's very fast. So that is physical therapy. If you have any questions, like any detailed questions about physical therapy, just send me a message. You can DM us on social media, on Instagram or TikTok, at Ayden Terrell, or leave a comment on the video, or email us at he'smineimamom@gmail.com, and I can answer whatever questions you have. I just know that I'm going to do like an episode on his physical therapy, like the details of the visits that we did, and like the beginning where I was concerned all the way through the end. So I don't want to do a deep dive today, but and then I also want to have a physical therapist on to talk about what they actually do with children that need physical therapy and all that kind of stuff. So moving on to speech therapy. Ayden, as I've said before, he's in speech therapy now. Um, and the reason why is because he could not hear well. We wound up finding out that because he wasn't talking, so that was my concern. It was like, he's not like repeating anything. He wasn't really babbling at first, and then when he started babbling, it was just kind of like, it wasn't like, well, it was mamas and dadas, but it was late. Like, we could tell that he was just delayed. And then I started realizing, or I think the girl started realizing, that we would like talk to him and he wouldn't like necessarily look and stuff like that. So, same thing with the doctor. I was giving her my concerns and so on, and she referred us to a speech therapist or an audiologist and checked his ears and saw that he had fluid behind his eardrums. What's crazy is the only ear infection that I've known Ayden to have, he had it when we went to get his hearing test done. And the only thing that I can say about Ayden is that when he's sick, if he's not super sick, you can't tell. Like, he doesn't get a fever or any of that stuff. So he might have had ear infections prior, and we just didn't know. So we started speech therapy a couple weeks before he did the tubal ligation, where they put the tubes in his ears, drain the fluid, and so on. And so I'm actually pretty grateful that it went like that, because Kelsy could actually tell the difference in pre tubes and post tubes. So, like, once he got his tubes, speech therapy went so quick. And I don't want to get deep into speech therapy, because she also talks about, her time with Ayden in speech therapy and how it was going and stuff. But, yeah. So once he got his tubes done, we went, before we got his tubes done, we did the evaluation. She was saying, his expressive language, which is him talking. Yeah, his expressive language, which is him talking, was delayed. Not terribly, but definitely delayed. And then his receptive language was also, but so we started with expressive language, because I had been teaching Ayden sign language, because I was like, you're 1.5 or so, and I need to know. Like, I need to know what you want. Like, you want milk? Do you want to eat? Or anything. So I started teaching him like the signs for milk, eat. There was something else that I taught him. But we did that eval, and she told us exactly like where he was at as far as like his age and what he should be doing. And then we made some goals. And like I said, once he got the tubes in, things changed so fast. Like, he started zipping through the expressive language side of speech therapy. And so with that, once we got to like a part where she was like, oh, well, he's fine with expressive language. And for like toddlers, it's kind of hard also to like deal with goals and like where they should be and all that kind of stuff, because they're stubborn, and they kind of do what they want. So sometimes we weren't sure if he could do the things and just didn't want to, because we would see him do it once or twice, and then he gets to a point where he wouldn't do it, and I'd be like, or he would do it for her and he wouldn't do it for us, or he would do it for us and he wouldn't do it for her. And so it was like just trying to figure out where he was. But yeah, so once we got through expressive language, which was actually not too long ago, I think we've only been working on receptive language for maybe a month or two. And so once we got there, then we pushed over to receptive language. And receptive language is basically where I should be able to tell him to like go to his room and get a thing, and he can go get it and come back without me like guiding him or pointing him to something. I should be able to tell him, put this tissue in the trash can, and he'd get the tissue and put it in the trash can. So far, the only things we have is like taking something and putting it in his hamper, in his room, in his closet, and putting things in the trash can, which he actually just started doing this week by himself. without me having to guide him. But what I've been doing at home, and I just started this recently, but what I've been doing at home is like if something of his needs to be done, I will tell him to do it without like gesturing to see if he knows what I'm saying or what he should be doing. And if not, then I'll take his hand and I will walk him through doing the thing. Sometimes it works because sometimes Aiden likes to learn. So sometimes like it works because he's like, oh yeah, show me the thing. And then sometimes he don't care. Sometimes he's just like crying through the whole thing. And usually if he start crying, I just be like whatever. But and this, he's not going to learn if I'm just like, whatever, let me do it, you know? And I don't want him to think that crying is going to let him get his way all the time. So that's what I've been doing at home to help with the receptive language side of speech therapy. Now, speech therapy in general, is for helping people improve communication skills. And that's clearly like with me talking about Aiden expressive versus receptive languages is clearly not just spoken language. It's also written, and it's also like just being able to process communication also. So speech therapy, it helps with things from as little as just getting your child to talk to like people that are older or however age and them like getting injured and having to relearn how to talk or how to express themselves or anything. Even things in the middle with like lisp or slurred talking, articulation, and stuff like that. So it helps a lot more than I had like thought about. I thought about other ways that people go to speech therapy for. Like I said, most of the time when I thought about it was like kids that like weren't talking or like might have a disorder and they have to find a different way to communicate, or injury, you get in an accident and you mess up the part of the brain that is for communication and you have to relearn how to process things, you have to relearn how to talk or write, all that stuff. So that's what speech therapists do. And as far as I know, speech therapists, they kind of choose like what age range they want to work with or like what type of teachings they want to do and stuff like that. So like I said, I don't want to get super, super deep into it because I did interview Kelsy and she does do a lot of good talking about speech therapy, what she went to school for and how she came to wanting to be a speech therapist, especially the age range that she wants to work with and techniques that she uses and all that type of stuff, like the type of people that speech therapists help and things like that. So this was really just a pre-post to the interview that is to come. In the future, also, I will be interviewing a occupational therapist. So that episode will be up. And then also a therapist that's also, I think, called a speech therapist, but she just helps and focuses on feeding. And I had never even thought about anything like that. Like, I didn't think about people having troubles eating. So, yeah. So I'm going to interview her also. So that interview will be coming in a couple weeks, hopefully. But I just, this, these interviews for me are just like awareness interviews. Just to kind of get it out there. I know from working at the daycare that a lot of it is like parents, you see children that need the help, but the parents may be in denial. They may not have the money for, therapies. A lot of parents don't want to see their child as imperfect, or they don't want to like push their child into having a problem. I think a lot of times people now think that, and there are doctors out there that do this, but they think that like people just push your child into a diagnosis and they don't necessarily need it. But for me, I always say it doesn't hurt to do the evaluation. Like most of the time, the eval is probably going to be free, or cheaper than you expect it to be. And if it's not, you can shop around for different therapists now. It's not like it used to be where you had to like go through your doctor. You do have to get a referral, but if you go get the eval and take that to the doctor, they should say yes, right? Um, but yeah, so I just wanted to do these awareness series because also coming up, like when I went to college, I had a very small box of things that I knew you could go to college for. And then even with like certain occupations, I didn't know what I should major like in college for. So like in high school, I did sports medicine trainer for the football and basketball teams. I didn't even think about going to college for it, and I love doing that. But nobody told me like, hey, you can major in sports medicine in college. And then when I figured it out, it was like too late for me to change my major, and then I had all these hangups about the classes we had to take and stuff like that. Um, Nobody like even with Kelsy, she'll talk about how like her mom's a nurse, and so that's how she kind of fell into like therapies because she knew she wanted to help people and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is like these interviews, like I said, are part of awareness series, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna call it outside. I don't want to just call it the awareness series, and I might wind up just doing that if I can't come up with a title. But um, I do just want to put out there like awareness about these things to try to ease like anxiety about it, to ease the fear of like getting your child checked out. Um, I do want to get somebody on to talk about autism now, like in our generations or in this day and age, and how to like identify it and stuff like that. Try to like ease the stigma behind autism and ease the stigma behind like ADHD. Get somebody to talk about that stuff too. So if you guys know anybody who like specializes in any things or anything that you think we need to bring awareness to and information, get it out. Let me know. Send me a message and I will interview them. Just I just want people to know stuff because I didn't know it. Like if Ayden didn't need physical therapy or speech therapy, it wouldn't even cross my mind. Unless somebody close to me, their child had to do it. My goddaughter actually had to do physical therapy, so you know I had heard about it, but you never think your child needs any of these things until you're in it, and then you realize how broad it is versus like what you just think. So yeah, that's really it. This is probably going to be one of the shorter episodes because, like I said, it's just like an intro to the interviews that are to come in the future. And most of the time, if I interview someone new, I'll probably try to do like a little intro video one week, and then put the interview out the next week, just so you know what's coming. Or just depending, it just depends. So, with all that said, this is episode 7, the therapies. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Ayden Terrell. Follow us on YouTube here. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you know when we put up a new video. And like, comment, follow, tell a friend. Let people know we're currently at 44 subscribers. Trying to get to 50. My goal right now is 50. And once I figure out like a good way to like get posts out every day, I'll be able to like have a subscriber goal by a certain day and work towards that. But I'm really still learning the social media and all this stuff going on. So like I said, right now my goals are just to record every week, make a post every week. Post a video every week, and then try to get to a point where I'm posting on social media every day. So wish me luck. But like I said, if you have any questions about Ayden specifically in physical therapy or speech therapy, send us a DM, send us a message, send us an email. You can find all the information in the bio on all his social media pages. If you have any other topics that you would like to hear about that I can add to my list of topics that I have, let me know. If there's anything you want to hear my 2 cents about, let me know. But until next week, you guys.